In the dark, narrow alleys of Tokyo, a silent hunter stalks his prey. This is Tenkabashi Sho, an elite agent for a secret organization, and tonight he's closing in on 3 cases of illegal extraterrestrial activity. His target is a woman who looks human but is anything but. She smirks, mocking the diligence of Earthlings as if she's untouchable. Tenkabashi Sho doesn't waste words. With a gaze colder than the night air, he delivers his ultimatum. Handstand. You are hereby under arrest. The alien laughs, noting his young age and questioning if he's just a foolish high schooler. But Sho remains unfazed, his body coiled and ready for combat. The mockery ends as the alien transforms, massive black claws erupting from her back. To her, Sho is just another small fry to be crushed. Elsewhere in the city, another high schooler is facing a crisis of a different kind. Gunji Akira stands before a sign that marks the end of his hopes. Out of stock. Meet Gunji Akira, a first-year student with a knack for bad luck. He considers it his duty to find this manga, even if it means trekking all the way to Akihabara on a Sunday. Back in the alley, the battle is in full swing. Sho moves with superhuman speed, flipping through the air to evade the alien's lethal strikes. The alien thinks she has the upper hand, screaming in triumph as she closes in. But she's underestimated the agent she's facing. With a cold click, Sho adjusts his weapon, switching from tossing mode to a more permanent slashing mode. The real fight starts now. In a blur of steel and motion, Sho delivers a decisive blow. The alien is stunned, her confidence shattered as she realizes the true power of the Earthling standing before her. The mission is a success. Sho receives a message from his superior, confirming the target is acquired. Despite the victory, there's a weariness in his eyes. Sho meets with Amamiya-san, a flashy and enigmatic figure within the organization. Amamiya reminds him of the time, asking if he can still make it for hospital visiting hours. Holding a bouquet of flowers, Sho prepares for his private life. He tells himself he can go anytime, but his expression tells a much more somber story. A distant memory flickers, a figure walking away through smoke and ruins, and a child left behind, bloodied and broken. Some wounds never truly heal. Back to the present, Gunji Akira is having a polar opposite experience. He finally secured the last volume of his manga. He tries to suppress his joyous smirk, but it's impossible. As the train doors close, Akira is in his own world, debating whether to start reading right there. He has no idea that Tenkabashi Sho is standing just a few feet away. 2 worlds are about to collide. On one side, the innocent, beaming smile of a normal boy. On the other, the piercing, haunted gaze of an alien hunter. Suddenly, Sho moves. He leans in close to Akira, his presence overwhelming. The sudden proximity leaves Akira startled and completely speechless. The other passengers watch in confusion as the 2 boys stare at each other. Akira can only manage a confusion as he feels the weight of Sho's intense scrutiny. The next day at school, the hallways are buzzing with gossip. Tenkabashi Sho is apparently a legend in Honors Class A, and even Akira's friend are talking about him. Akira spots him from a distance. There's no mistaking that aura. It's the same guy from the train, the mysterious and popular Tenkabashi Sho. Akira is puzzled. Why would someone from the elite honors class even talk to him? He's in the lowest class, a nobody compared to the school's superstar. The rumors are wild. Students even call Sho an alien because he's too perfect and mysterious. To an ordinary guy like Akira, Tenkabashi Sho feels like an existence from a completely different world, one he has no desire to be part of. Between the sudden fan clubs and the stories of him vanishing without a trace, Akira finds the hype ridiculous. He wonders if Sho's looks give him a free pass to be so distant. Little does he know, a simple lost item is about to force their 2 very different lives to collide. Gunji Akira stares at a wallet he found, his thoughts inevitably drifting to the person he shares a complicated tension with, Tenkabashi Sho. He feels a growing sense of friction convinced that their personalities and worlds are just too different to ever truly connect. The ordinary peace of a school day is broken when two female students discover a lost wallet lying on the floor. It's a simple item, but it's about to spark a very awkward situation. Curiosity takes over as the girls, including one with reddish hair and freckles, suggest peeking inside to find the owner's identity. Akira, watching from the sidelines, realizes with a start exactly whose wallet it is and knows he has to intervene. Before they can open it, Akira lunges forward with surprising speed, snatching the wallet from their hands in a desperate, frantic move that leaves the girls stunned. Panicked and blushing, Akira blurted out the first excuse he could think of. He claims there's an embarrassing pinup of a busty idol inside that no one should see. While it stops them from looking, it leaves the girls baffled and slightly disgusted by his sudden outburst. Akira's high school social life flashes before his eyes as he realizes he's just made an enemy of every girl in his class. While his friend laughs at the absurdity, Akira feels like he's already reached his limit for the day. Seeking a moment of privacy, Akira retreats to look at the wallet properly. It's a sleek, modern item, but looking at it brings back a rush of personal memories. A wave of nostalgia hits him as he looks at a photo. He remembers a happier time, a childhood memory of himself as a young boy, saluting proudly while being carried by his father, a dedicated police officer who was his ultimate hero. "Dad, I'm a first year in high school now," Akira thinks, his eyes filled with a quiet, lingering sadness. The loss of his father still haunts him, leaving a gap in his life that he tries to fill with his own sense of justice. That loss has become his compass. Akira is determined to graduate and enter the police academy, following in his father's footsteps to protect the city they both call home and honor his memory. Walking through Achinamizu Station, Akira glances at club recruitment flyers for things like the soccer club. He feels the vibrant, adolescence energy of his peers, even as he remains focused on the practicalities of his own life. Akira's thoughts are focused on the future. He needs to save money and stop being a burden to his aunt. He's currently on his way to a part-time job interview, trying to stay behind the yellow line and keep a low profile. On the station platform, Akira notices something strange. A train car that's almost completely empty while others are packed. Figuring he's found a lucky break, he hops on, excited to finally get a seat after a long day. The doors hiss shut, and the absolute silence of the empty car suddenly feels oppressive and kind of scary. Akira wonders if he should just move to the next carriage, his intuition warning him that something is off. He settles into a seat with a sigh of relief, assuming others will join eventually. However, his relief is short-lived when he looks down the aisle and sees people at the far end of the car. His heart drops. It's Tenkabashi Sho, dressed in strange tactical gear and standing right in front of a frail old lady. Akira fidgets, hoping the woman is okay and wondering why Sho is dressed in such weird clothes. The tension in the car is thick enough to cut. Sho remains perfectly still, a silent sentinel in his hoodie, while Fujiwara Tomiko sits quietly. It's an eerie standoff that feels like the calm before a storm. In the blink of an eye, the world turns upside down. Akira's eyes widen in terror as the old lady suddenly disappears from her seat with a sharp crack, leaving only a blur behind. Gravity seems to lose its grip as Fujiwara Tomiko reveals her true alien nature. Massive, grotesque tentacles erupt from her body, anchoring her to the ceiling of the train car in a display of monstrous power. Sho is already in a combat stance, his hand tight on his weapon. The nightmare intensifies as a second mouth, filled with rows of razor-sharp fangs and a central eye, opens wide in Tomiko's neck. Sho pulls up his hood, his expression as cold and lethal as the weapon he's about to use. With a burst of speed, Sho launches himself into the air, moving through the carriage with the grace of a seasoned predator. The train car has officially become a battlefield. Sho is a whirlwind of precision. With a single, fluid strike, he severs the monstrous tentacles as they lash out, his high-tech blade glowing as it cuts through alien flesh like paper. Sho pins the struggling alien to the floor, his sword held at her neck. Tomiko's human facade is cracking, her desperation and pain evident as she's completely overpowered by the young agent. Akira stands frozen, his mind desperately grasping for any logical explanation. They say the elderly are energetic these days, but isn't this taking a bit too far? He thinks, paralyzed as the impossible sci-fi horror unfolds right before his eyes. He clings to the hope that this is all just a fever dream, but the sight of tentacles sprouting from a normal old lady anchors him to a terrifying new reality. But his time as a silent observer is over. The nightmare is about to reach out and pull him in. Before Gunji Akira can even scream, a massive, slimy tentacle wraps around him. He's caught in the crossfire of a battle he doesn't understand, while Tenkabashi Sho can only watch as the situation spirals out of control. "We're leaving," the voice booms. Akira is yanked off his feet, his world spinning into a dizzying blur of motion and terror as he's forcibly taken from the train car. In a scene straight out of a nightmare, the alien Tomiko takes flight, soaring through the Tokyo skyline with Akira in tow. Back at the station, Sho remains in pursuit, calling in the escape while a cleanup crew handles the wreckage left behind. Tenkabashi Sho adjusts his hood, his expression unreadable as he focuses on the mission. For him, this isn't personal, it's just a target that got away, and he's determined to finish the job. Hours later, Akira slowly opens his eyes. His head is heavy, and the last thing he remembers is the terrifying transformation on the train. He looks around, dazed and unsure of where he is. He finds himself in a quiet, traditional Japanese house, a sharp contrast to the high-tech chaos of the city. The ticking of an old pendulum clock is the only sound in the time-worn room. Akira's panic returns when he sees the time. He's way past his part-time interview. Just as he's about to lose it, the sliding door opens, and Tomiko walks in, looking like a perfectly normal old lady again as she offers him some tea. Stuttering and biting his tongue, Akira introduces himself as a first-year high school student. Tomiko watches him with a stern, appraising gaze, unimpressed by his clumsy introduction. The old lady doesn't mince words. She reveals her true identity as a Tenefuyan, an alien from the planet Tenefu. Though on Earth, she simply goes by the name Fujiwara Tomiko. Akira can only stare in disbelief. As Tomiko offers him some snacks, Akira tries to make sense of the conversation. He wonders if this is some elaborate backstory and decides his best bet is to just go along with her for now. Tomiko explains that the AMO, the Alien Management Organization, is the group hunting her. She assumes Akira must have missed his orientation in America, leaving him more confused than ever about the global scale of this secret world. The situation turns absurd when Tomiko jokingly asks if Akira is an illegal immigrant himself. He frantically denies it, his mind flashing back to the horrific scene of tentacles and destruction on the train. This lady definitely isn't joking. The reality of the situation finally sinks in. Aliens really exist, and they're living right under everyone's noses. Akira's face is a mask of pure, existential dread. Summoning his courage, Akira asks about the man from the AMO. Despite everything, Tomiko still looks so human, and he's lost for words at the incredible, terrifying secret she carries. Tomiko leads him to another room, where an elderly man lies unconscious in bed. Akira's jaw drops as she introduces the man as her husband, a human earthling. They've been living together for 50 years, though they aren't registered. Tomiko explains that her husband doesn't even know she's an alien, but he hasn't woken up for 2 weeks. The tragedy of their situation is palpable. Her travel visa has expired, meaning she's legally required to leave Earth. But her husband is terminally ill, and he doesn't have much longer. Tomiko can't bring herself to abandon him in his final moments. If she returns to her home planet to update her visa, he will be dead before she can get back. To Akira, the AMO's rules seem heartless, and he begins to realize the impossible choice Tomiko is facing. Akira realizes that he wasn't just a random victim. He was lost, and ended up in the wrong place. Tomiko stares at him, realizing that he truly had no idea what he was getting into when he boarded that train. Everything clicks when Tomiko reveals that the train car he boarded was reserved specifically for aliens. That's why no one else was lined up for it. She looks at him with a mix of pity and suspicion. Tomiko admits she snapped and attacked Sho because she refused to be taken away while her husband still breathed. She knows the AMO will retaliate, but her love for her husband is stronger than her fear of the law. Akira remembers his father's words, that violence is bad. But as he looks at Sho's cold, hooded figure in his mind, he realizes that the rules aren't always fair, especially when lives are at stake. The weight of Tomiko's words hangs heavy in the air. They'll kill me the next time they come, she says with a chilling certainty. Akira is horrified, wondering why they can't just call the regular police to handle this. The harsh truth sinks in. The AMO is the only authority for aliens, operating in the shadows far beyond the reach of the regular police. For Fujiwara Tomiko, caught in their web of strict regulations, there truly is nowhere left to hide. Despite the danger, Akira suggests one final, desperate plea, talking to them one more time. Though he knows his help is limited, his promise to stay by her side brings a bittersweet smile to Tomiko's face, a fleeting moment of peace before the inevitable arrives. Fujiwara Tomiko looks at Gunji Akira with a softened gaze. To her, he's a strange person, yet he reminds her so much of her human husband. But the brief moment of connection is shattered by the sharp chime of the doorbell. It's too late, she whispers. The shadow behind the sliding door is unmistakable. Tenkabashi's Sho has arrived, and the air in the room instantly turns heavy with the threat of what's to come. Akira's heart and mind are at odds. He feels completely useless in a real fight, yet he can't just walk away. Tomiko, however, has no intention of letting him stay. She pushes him toward the exit, desperate to spare him from being dragged into her mess. In that moment of rejection, a painful memory surfaces. A younger Akira, tears streaming down his face, screams at a door, accusing someone of being a liar and breaking a promise. You said you'd come back early for my birthday. The memory continues. His father, a police officer, stands at the entrance, his face etched with exhaustion and guilt. He tried his best, but work kept him away. Young Akira, blinded by hurt, yelled at his father to go away and leave him alone. The scene shifts to the harsh reality that followed. A funeral portrait of his father, framed in black. The whispers of the mourners haunt Akira's mind. How his father died in the line of duty, or maybe a gas explosion. To everyone else, he was a hero. To Akira, he was a father who never came home. Akira carries a heavy burden of regret. He knew his father worked tirelessly, but he let his anger speak for him during their last moments together. He remembers the last time he saw his father, drenched in sweat, probably from a long day on duty, saying a simple, "I'll be off then." Akira didn't even look at him. He just lay in bed, crying in silence as the door clicked shut. That goodbye was full of regret, a wound that never healed. I never want anyone to have to say it. Akira thinks, his eyes filled with tears. He reaches out to Tomiko, his resolve hardening. He won't let her last goodbye be as hollow as his own. With a newfound desperation, Akira pleads with Tomiko. Please cooperate with me. He's not going to let her face the AMO alone, even if she doesn't think he can help. Akira's weapon of choice is a simple frying pan. His knees are shaking and his heart is pounding against his chest, but he's standing his ground. He tells Tomiko to stay by her husband's side while he goes to the door, hoping against hope that he can talk his way through this. From the other side of the door, Tenkabashi Sho's voice is cold and precise. I know you're in there. He's not here for a conversation. Akira panics, frantically yelling that he'll open up, hoping to prevent Sho from breaking down the door. With trembling hands, Akira slides the door open. He's met with a face that's both familiar and terrifyingly distant. The confrontation he's been dreading is finally here. Tenkabashi Sho's gaze is like ice, piercing right through Akira. There is no warmth, no recognition of their shared status as students. only the focus of an agent on a mission. Akira is paralyzed for a moment, his mind screaming in shock. Tenkabashi show dash. The cool boy from Honors Class A is standing right there, and the contrast between his school persona and this tactical hunter is jarring. Why are you here? Sho asks, his voice flat. The reality of it all is almost too much for Akira to process. This guy is in his first year of high school, just like him, yet he works for a secret organization like the AMO. How mysterious of a human are you? Akira thinks, his head spinning. Akira tries to regain his composure, telling Sho that he knows about the AMO and what's happening. He's sweating bullets, but he's trying to convince himself that maybe, just maybe, this can work. Sho looks at Akira with a mix of indifference and annoyance, noticing the frying pan in his hand. Akira apologizes, explaining that while this has nothing to do with him, he feels invested now. He's doing this for his own satisfaction, to prevent another tragedy. Akira's voice is soft but firm as he explains Tomiko's situation. She just wants to be by the side of the person she loves until the very end. He's pleading for empathy from a person who seems to have none. Sho's response is as cold as expected. It's the rules. To him, the situation is black and white, and personal feelings have no place in the laws of the AMO. Akira is crushed by the mechanical nature of Sho's words. The tension between them is electric. Sho asks if Akira is an alien himself, a question that leaves Akira fuming. I'm an earthling, he snaps. Sho falls silent, staring at him with those unblinking eyes, as if evaluating his very soul. Akira doesn't back down. He asks if there's a law that says earthlings can't care about aliens. Sho's face remains a mask of indifference. It doesn't matter to me whether they're an earthling or an alien, he says, his voice devoid of emotion. But for Akira, it matters everything. He wants to respect Tomiko's wish to stay next to the person she cares about. He's standing up for the humanity of an alien, a concept that seems completely foreign to the agent before him. Tenkabashi Sho continues to stare, his silence more unnerving than any threat. Gunji Akira is drenched in sweat, his grip on the frying pan tightening as he stands his ground. He knows he's in way over his head, but he refuses to budge, braced for whatever comes next. The two boys, so different in every way, remain locked in a silent standoff at the threshold of the house. Yeah, Sho finally says, his eyes narrowing as he looks at Akira. You. The air is thick with an unbearable tension, as if the fate of everyone in this house is about to be decided in a single moment. The standoff is abruptly broken by a voice from the shadows. Fujiwara Tomiko steps forward, her voice weary but firm as she tells the two boys, that's enough. Akira and Sho turn, the air thick with an unspoken finality. Tomiko thanks Akira for his earnest attempt to protect her, but the fight is over. With a look of profound sadness, she delivers the news that changes everything. He's gone. Her husband has passed away in the other room. In the quiet bedroom, the elderly man lies still, his journey at an end. Tomiko calls him an unreliable man with a bittersweet smile, heartbroken that he never woke up to hear her say good morning one last time. Despite everything, she stayed by his side until his very last breath. Akira and Sho stand in solemn silence as Tomiko mourns. The barrier between alien and human seems to vanish in the face of such raw, universal grief. Akira reaches out, offering whatever small comfort he can to the woman who loved an earthling for half a century. Memories of their long life together flicker through Tomiko's mind. She remembers the day he proposed, begging her to one day share a grave with him. Back then, she was just a tourist in disguise, never imagining she would lose her heart to someone with such a fleeting lifespan. She had told him she would only be on Earth for 10 years before returning to her home planet, Tenefo. She never planned for 10 years to turn into 50, or for this planet to become her true home. She had mocked him once, calling him a fool for wanting to share a grave when Tenefoians live for 700 years. But as they sat together, watching the days turn into decades, the difference in their lifespans mattered less than the love they shared. Now his hand is cold in hers. To Tomiko, The decades spent with him seemed like a beautiful, fleeting dream. Her life was fundamentally changed by a simple earthling, and even as she prepares to return to her homeland far away, she carries the weight of that love with her. With her husband gone, Tomiko has no more attachments to this world. She looks at Akira one last time, her eyes filled with gratitude. "I'm glad you were here," she says, her voice a soft whisper in the still room. The time for resistance is over. Tomiko turns to Sho and accepts her fate. "Take me away," she says, prepared to face whatever punishment the AMO has in store for her. She has kept her promise to her husband, and that is enough. "Very well," Sho replies, his voice steady but lacking its earlier edge. Akira can only watch, his heart heavy as the reality of the situation settles over them all. The law is the law, even when it feels like a tragedy. Amamiya-san arrives with reinforcements, his flashy presence clashing with the somber atmosphere of the house. He praises Sho for a job well done, his cheerful demeanor masking the cold efficiency of the organization he leads. Amamiya confirms the cause of death as illness, clearing Tomiko of any immediate suspicion of foul play toward her husband. He smiles as she is cuffed, a shark-like grin that sends a shiver down Akira's spine. Sho, meanwhile, refuses to look. Before they leave, Amamiya pauses, his sharp eyes fixed on Sho. "Are you hiding anything from me?" he asks. Sho remains silent, his back turned to his superior, his thoughts hidden behind a wall of professional indifference. As the AMO team departs with Tomiko, Sho remains behind for a moment in the garden. He watches Akira walk away, the two boys left alone in the aftermath of a long and exhausting night. Amamiya's laughter echoes faintly in the distance. "See you." Sho walks through the quiet bamboo forest, his footsteps light on the damp earth. The mission is technically over, but the encounter with Akira has clearly left an impression on the young agent. He finds Akira sitting on a fallen log, looking completely drained. "You didn't run away?" Sho asks. He explains that Tomiko is being handled by headquarters and will eventually be repatriated to her home planet. For Akira, it's a bittersweet ending. Akira is worried about Tomiko's fate. She attacked an Earthling, Akira himself, and he knows that's a serious crime in the eyes of the AMO. He asks if she'll be killed, his voice trembling with concern for the woman he tried to help. Sho confirms that harming an Earthling is subject to punishment. He stares at Akira, his eyes unblinking, as if weighing the life of an alien against the laws he's sworn to uphold. The silence between them is heavy with the potential for more violence. Then, Sho drops a bombshell. He didn't report that she used force on him. He reported that she didn't harm any Earthlings during her escape. Akira is stunned. Sho actually broke the rules to protect Tomiko. "It's totally fine," Akira shouts, overwhelmed with relief. Akira tries to thank him, but Sho is quick to dismiss it. He claims he did nothing to deserve thanks and warns Akira that if he were to sue the AMO for the train incident, Sho would be the one to lose because of his cover-up. He looks scary, but Akira is beginning to suspect there's a heart under that tactical gear. Akira quickly promises he won't sue anyone. Sho pauses, then looks Akira directly in the eyes. "I would like to reaffirm something," he says, his voice taking on a new, more personal tone. "Oh," Akira replies, confused by the sudden shift. "You really don't remember meeting me?" Sho asks. He reveals that they've met before, 9 years ago, when they were both just 6 years old. Akira is completely blindsided. This again, all of a sudden, he thinks, his mind racing to find a memory that isn't there. Akira's mind races as he tries to connect the dots. 9 years ago, that was the year his father died. He was living in Saitama then and is certain he never visited Tokyo, yet Sho is strangely insistent. The mention of that specific year casts a long, dark shadow over their conversation, hinting at a connection Akira isn't ready to face. Feeling the weight of Sho's unblinking stare, Akira awkwardly tries to laugh it off, suggesting he must be mistaken for someone else. But Sho doesn't smile. His eyes remain fixed on Akira, filled with a chilling certainty that makes the air turn cold. The mystery of their shared past is suddenly overshadowed by a much more immediate threat. A heavy silence falls between them. Akira watches Sho, surprised to see a flash of sadness in the other boy's eyes. But that vulnerability is quickly replaced by the cold, hard logic of the organization. Unfortunately, Sho says, his voice dropping an octave, as it is the rules. Sho turns to face Akira, the distance between them feeling like a vast, unbridgeable chasm. The words he speaks next are a death sentence for Akira's normal life. You will now be erased. Akira's heart stops, his mind racing with terror as he looks into those unyielding, icy eyes. For a boy who just wanted to find a manga and follow in his father's footsteps, the erasure of his existence is a nightmare he never could have imagined. As the first chapter of Tokyo Aliens comes to a close, Akira's world is about to disappear forever. After the chaotic encounter with the alien on the train, Gunji Akira finds himself standing in front of the Kinshur Town Police Department. His mind is a complete blank, unsure of why he's been brought here of all places. Tenkabashi Sho, who just moments ago was in combat gear, has already changed back into his school uniform. With a gaze that's as sharp as ever, he coldly commands Akira to follow him inside. Akira can only gape in surprise at how fast this guy can switch roles. Sho isn't just a regular student. He's a member of the Special Riot Police for the AMO, the Alien Management Organization. Akira reflects on how he was dragged into Sho's fight with a dangerous alien on a train car that shouldn't even exist for humans. Now, Akira is stuck with a guy he normally would have never talked to. Worse yet, he's convinced that Sho is leading him into the station to erase his memory, or maybe even erase him for good to keep their secret. Sweat pours down Akira's face as his anxiety reaches its limit. He feels like he's being driven into a corner. He thinks about escaping, but for now, he has no choice but to walk through those doors and see what happens. Memories of his father, a dedicated police officer, flash through Akira's mind. His dad never mentioned anything about aliens. If the AMO is part of the police, it must be so top secret that even regular officers have no idea it exists. Akira considers calling out for help from the officers at the front desk, but shows polite thanks for his willingness to cooperate makes it clear that there's no easy way out of this situation. The fear finally breaks him. Akira panics, shouting for his life and trying to back away, but it's useless. To the regular officers watching, it just looks like a couple of students having a bit of a dramatic moment. When a regular officer tries to intervene, Sho casually flashes the high-level public safety badge. Seeing the authority Sho carries, Akira realizes that regular police won't be able to help him. He wonders if this is where his journey ends. Suddenly, a charismatic man with an eye patch appears, accompanied by an assistant in a suit. This is Amamiya Reiji. He casually mentions memory erasure, which only confirms Akira's worst fears as he begs for mercy. Sho bluntly confirms that yes, memory erasure is exactly what's on the schedule. Akira is horrified, shouting that such a thing must be a crime. He thought he was going to be killed, but losing his memories feels just as final. Akira tries to argue, questioning how they can even do such a thing and whether it's legal. Sho just stares back, unimpressed by the outburst, while the mysterious man in the coat watches with an amused expression. Amamiya Reiji leans in, his single visible eye locking onto Akira with an intensity that sends a chill down the boy's spine. There's something about this man that suggests he knows a lot more than he's letting on. Amamiya asks for Akira's name, and when he hears Gunji Akira, his smile turns into something more knowing. He repeats the name slowly, as if recognizing a long-lost acquaintance. Then comes the question that changes everything. Do you know Gunji Akio? Akira is stunned. That's his father's name. How could this high-ranking secret agent possibly know his dad? The bombshell drops. Amamiya reveals that he didn't just know Akira's father. They were colleagues. Gunji Akio wasn't just a normal cop. He worked out alongside them in the AMO. The revelation hits Akira like a physical blow. He lets out a scream of pure shock that echoes through the halls of the station. Everything he thought he knew about his father's life was a lie. Akira can't believe it. His father, The man who supposedly died in a gas explosion was actually fighting aliens in a secret organization. Amamiya sees the boy's reaction and realizes that Akira truly was kept in the dark about his family's legacy. Despite the emotional moment, Sho remains focused on the mission. He reminds Amamiya that Akira has seen too much and needs his memory erased immediately. The assistant, Hyugo Natsuki, opens a door and invites them inside. They enter a room that looks suspiciously like an interrogation cell. Akira feels a sense of dread, as if he's the one who committed a crime, despite only being a witness to a world he was never supposed to see. The atmosphere in the room is suffocatingly heavy. Akira sits there trembling, surrounded by high-ranking agents and the cold, silent Sho. He feels like a small fish in a very dangerous, very alien pond. Amamiya decides it's time for some exposition. He explains that aliens have been secretly visiting Earth for centuries, with the United States acting as the primary entry point for interstellar relations. Akira can hardly process the scope of what he's hearing. Amamiya officially introduces himself and his aide, Hyugo Natsuki. He explains that Japan is actually ninth in terms of alien visitation. Akira is overwhelmed, wondering if it's even okay for a normal person like him to know all this global-scale information. The explanation continues. Aliens visit Earth for tourism, asylum, or trade, blending into society. In a massive city like Tokyo, there's roughly one alien for every 400 people. Akira is left reeling, realizing just how many otherworldly beings he might have unknowingly walked past on the street. While Amamiya notes that most are friendly, his expression darkens as he mentions the exceptions, the invaders who pose a real threat. It's the AMO's duty to handle these dangerous cases, and it's in this high-stakes world that his father's true story begins. Amamiya Reiji continues his explanation, revealing that the AMO is the organization that manages and resolves incidents caused by aliens. He looks directly at Akira and confirms the heart-wrenching truth. His father, Gunji Akio, wasn't a regular cop. He was a member of the AMO's elite special riot police. As Amamiya speaks, the reality of his father's dangerous life begins to sink in. He explains that the special riot police are authorized to use lethal force in extreme cases. Akira is visibly sweating, his mind racing as he processes the fact that his kind-hearted father was a man who had to resort to violence against otherworldly threats. Amamiya further explains that to the outside world, the AMO is hidden under the guise of the public safety sector. This secrecy is absolute, meaning agents are obligated to withhold everything, even from their own families. Akira thinks of his childhood, realizing that the man who raised him was living a double life, interacting with aliens every single day while keeping his family safe from the truth. The room is thick with tension as Amamiya bows his head slightly, expressing a sincere apology for what happened to Akio. Akira sits frozen, his wide eyes reflecting the sheer shock of having his entire worldview shattered in a single conversation. In the background, Sho and Natsuki watch the interaction in silence. The truth gets even grimmer. Amamiya states clearly that Akio was killed in action. This detail even surprises Sho, who realizes that this tragedy happened long before he ever joined the organization. Akira can only stare, the weight of the words killed in action echoing in his mind. Then, Amamiya speaks the name of the killer, Silver. The name itself seems to carry a heavy, ominous weight. Akira and Sho both react with shock. Akira, confused by the name, and Sho seemingly recognizing the gravity of what Silver represents. It's a name that marks a turning point in the boy's life. Amamiya reiterates the brutal truth without sugarcoating it. Akira's father was killed by an alien. The boy is speechless, his eyes glazed over as he tries to wrap his head around the what of it all. The comfortable lies he believed for years are being torn away piece by piece. Akira struggles to reconcile this with the friendly alien he just met, like Tomiko. He protests, mentioning how he was told aliens are docile and peaceful. Amamiya reveals that the official cause of death, a gas explosion, was entirely fabricated by the police to hide the existence of the AMO and the otherworldly threat that took his father's life. Looking Akira straight in the eye, Amamiya tells him that while most are peaceful, there are always exceptions, dangerous ones. Akira is completely overwhelmed, whispered "no way," as he realizes that the friendly image of aliens he had was only one side of a very dark coin. Memories of Akio flood Akira's mind. He sees his father's gentle smile, remembers being held as a toddler, and thinks back to their shared moments during bath time and play. The man in those memories was a hero to him, but now he knows that Hiro was fighting a secret war every time he left the house. The grief is visible in Akira's eyes as he whispers for his dad. The tragedy of 9 years ago feels fresh all over again, now that he knows his father didn't die in an accident, but was taken by a monster from another world. Suddenly, Amamiya drops the ultimate proposal. He invites Akira to join the AMO Special Riot Police. The shock is instantaneous. Sho's eyes widen in disbelief, and even Natsuki, the aide, is visibly startled by such a bold move. Akira can only stare, his mind reeling from the invitation to join the very force his father died serving. Amamiya holds up a finger, explaining that he has two main reasons for this. First, he feels a deep sense of gratitude and indebtedness to Akira's father. He wants to honor the memory of his fallen comrade by looking after his son. The second reason is more personal. Amamiya claims that he sees a striking similarity between Akira and his father. Despite Akira's self-doubt and fear, Amamiya believes there is a hidden potential within him that mirrors the strength Akio once possessed. Natsuki immediately objects, pointing out that Akira is just an ordinary high school student with no training. Amamiya calmly counters by pointing out that Sho is technically also a student. Sho remains silent, his expression unreadable, while Akira sits there, caught in the middle of a high-stakes debate about his own future. The conversation shifts back to the killer. Amamiya reveals that Silver is currently missing. Akira looks down, the name of his father's murderer looming over him. The injustice of it all, the fact that the killer is still out there somewhere, begins to stir something deep inside the boy. Silver hasn't been seen in 9 years, yet remains at the top of the Universal Wanted list. Amamiya expresses a deep regret, apologizing to Akira because they still haven't managed to avenge his father. For Akira, hearing that the threat might still be out there in the world is both terrifying and motivating. Amamiya speculates that Silver might have returned to Earth, or, perhaps more terrifyingly, is still here, hiding in plain sight and biding its time. The idea that such a dangerous predator is holding its breath somewhere in the city makes the room feel even colder. As Amamiya sips his drink, he describes the horrifying nature of Silver. It preys upon all intelligent life, whether they are aliens or humans. It isn't picky about its victims. Akira is chilled to the bone by the concept of a prey, a term his father once lived through and eventually fell to. The screen shows a terrifying visual of a monster's maw, filled with rows of razor-sharp teeth. Amamiya calls Silver an evolutionary alien, a calamity that upgrades itself by consuming other intelligent life forms. It is a threat not just to Tokyo, but to the entire planet and the universe beyond. With an intense, unwavering gaze, Amamiya makes his final plea. "Please, could you lend us your help?" He looks at Akira with a mixture of hope and calculation, waiting to see if the son will step into the footsteps of the father. The silence is broken by the sound of a hand slamming against the desk. Sho stands up, his voice firm and filled with disapproval as he calls out Amamiya's name. He's clearly reached his limit with this line of recruitment. Sho's rejection of the plan is absolute. "I am against this," he declares. He argues that they shouldn't be dragging innocent civilians into a war this dangerous, especially someone as seemingly ordinary as Akira. Akira is startled by Sho's sudden outburst of protectiveness, however cold it may seem. Amamiya stands his ground, coolly placing the weight of the future squarely on Akira's shoulders. As he and Sho trade tense, silent looks, Akira remains trapped in a deep internal struggle, questioning if he can ever truly be more than just an ordinary civilian in the face of such overwhelming secrets. Self-doubt weighs heavy on his heart, whispering that he isn't strong enough or brave enough to be useful. But as his eyes drift back to his father's funeral portrait, to the hero who sacrificed everything for this hidden world, a stubborn but begins to spark in his mind. The fear is still there, but the pull of his father's legacy is becoming impossible to ignore. With a look of absolute determination in his eyes, Gunji Akira makes his decision. He looks at Amamiya and says simply, "I'd like to do it." The fear is still there, but the desire to follow his father's path has finally won out. Tenkabashi Sho immediately erupts in protest. "You don't understand," he shouts, his usual icy composure cracking under the weight of his concern, or perhaps his frustration. Amamiya and Natsuki watch the interaction, sensing the deep divide between the two boys. Sho warns Akira that Silver is nothing like the alien he encountered before. It's on a completely different level of danger. Akira, looking small and unsure, admits that he knows he might just be in the way of brilliant humans like them, but he can't walk away now that he knows the truth. Akira reflects on his father. Despite being together every day, he realized he knew nothing at all about Akio's real life. He remembers his own childish tantrums when his father worked late, and now he feels a burning need to see the world his father saw, even if it's terrifying. There's a quiet moment of resolution. Akira looks off to the side, whispering that he wants to see it too. Sho watches him, his gaze softening just a fraction as he hears the sincerity in Akira's voice. The legacy of Gunji-san hangs heavy between them. Amamiya is delighted by the acceptance, thanking Akira with a cheerful smile. However, he quickly adds a caveat. Nobody joins the AMO without passing a rigorous test. Akira's face goes from determined to startled in a split second. Amamiya tries to reassure him, saying that if he fails, they'll just erase his memory and put him back in his old life. Akira is horrified. Say that earlier, he screams, already worrying about how embarrassing it will be to fail a life-changing test. Akira nervously asks if the test is hard. Amamiya explains that it's held at the Metro Police Department and is similar to the entrance test for police officers, but with a special practical component. He offers to refer Akira personally, which doesn't exactly make the boy feel better. Thinking he has time to prepare, Akira asks them to wait until he graduates high school. But Amamiya just gives him a knowing glint and points out that he's already a first-year student, so there's no time like the present. Akira starts counting down his remaining hours of normal life on his fingers. "Okay then, let's go now," Amamiya says cheerfully. Akira's heart nearly stops. Beside him, Sho remains stoic, seemingly used to Amamiya's sudden whims, while Akira is left standing there in a daze of HUH. They arrive at the massive Metro Police Department building. Akira's jaw drops, and he lets out a scream of pure disbelief. He thought they'd have more time, but they're already at the threshold of the lion's den. Akira is in full panic mode, clutching his head and shouting that he didn't sign up for this, and there's no way he'll pass. Amamiya just laughs it off, giving him a carefree thumbs up and telling him that as long as he has energy, he can do anything his heart desires. Akira turns to Sho, desperately asking for some tips on how to pass. Sho's cryptic answer? Spirit, I guess. It's not the tactical advice Akira was hoping for. He trembles as they walk towards the entrance, terrified they'll suddenly tell him to fight an alien right there on the steps. Sho and Amamiya lead the way inside. Akira's inner monologue is a frantic mess of, "I'm just a regular human, and I can't fight." He looks at the back of Sho's uniform, wondering how the other boy can be so calm in the face of such insanity. Instead of a high-tech lab, they stop at what looks like a regular photo booth. Amamiya tells Akira to get in so they can set up a temporary account with his fingerprints and a retinal scan. Akira is confused, wondering if they just need it for paperwork. The booth is incredibly cramped once Sho and Akira are both squeezed inside. Akira is blushing and sweating, feeling far too close to the aloof Sho. Amamiya is busy operating the machine, telling Akira to stay still as he presses a series of buttons. Suddenly, the booth makes a boop sound and the floor begins to move. Wait, wait, wait. Akira screams as the booth turns out to be a secret high-speed elevator descending deep into the earth. Amamiya waves a cheerful, "See you soon," as Akira drops out of sight. Akira is hysterical as he realizes he's going down alone. He prays to every deity he can think of that there isn't an alien waiting for him at the bottom, or that they won't make him fight something as part of his test. The elevator comes to a stop with a loud ding. The doors open to reveal a flamboyant woman in a lab coat and fishnets. "Welcome to the Alien Management Organization, AMO," she says with a wink. She introduces herself as Christina, the Research and Development Supervisor and Operator. Akira is too busy saying WHA to process the greeting. In his panic, Akira points and screams, "In." Christina doesn't take the insult lightly, delivering a swift smack to his head. "Who are you calling an alien?" she shouts, her temper flaring as quickly as her arrival. Akira is slumped on the floor, nursing his head and realizing that Christina definitely has a male voice. Christina just giggles, saying he said something so funny she couldn't help retorting. Akira's confusion has reached an all-time high. He stands up and finally looks around. He's standing in a massive, multi-level underground plaza. Elevators zip up and down glass tubes, and flags of different organizations or worlds hang from the high, vaulted ceiling. It's a technological marvel. The facility is breathtakingly complex. From his vantage point, Akira sees workers in high-tech gear, massive monitor screens displaying data, and giant digital maps of Japan. This is the true heart of the AMO, hidden miles beneath the streets of Tokyo. "Wow," is all Akira can manage to whisper. Standing in the heart of the base, he's overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the AMO facility hidden right under the Metro Police Department. The secret world his father dedicated his life to is finally coming into focus, and it's far more vast and technologically advanced than anything Akira could have imagined in his wildest dreams. Sho steps into view, looking entirely unfazed by the high-tech surroundings. When Akira asks where he came from, Sho matter-of-factly reminds him that they had to descend one by one because that photo booth elevator was far too cramped for 3 people. Christina, who Sho confirms is a fellow Earthling, greets him with a cheerful compliment about how dashing he looks today, a playful remark that sets the stage for Sho's oddly serious attitude toward his own appearance. Tenkabashi Sho maintains his stoic expression, claiming he's simply grateful to his parents for the face they gave him. Gunji Akira watches him with a flat look, thinking to himself that Sho must get compliments on his looks so often that he's developed a standard, perfectly serious response for it. Christina apologizes to Amamiya Reiji for requesting the test so suddenly, but she promises they'll do their absolute best for Reiji-chan. Amamiya, ever the demanding superior, just tells her she should be doing her best regardless. The camaraderie and the casual nicknames suggest a long history between the two. Christina turns her attention to Akira, asking for his name. When he introduces himself as Gunji Akira, she beams, calling it a wonderful name and giving him a supportive pat on the shoulder. Akira is still a bit shell-shocked by how many people work in this hidden world. As Akira prays for an easy test, Amamiya announces that they're starting without further ado. Christina, with a mischievous glint in her eyes, suddenly says, "Let's strip you." Akira's eyes nearly pop out his head as he lets out a startled "HUH," while Sho remains perfectly silent. The stripping turns out to be a quick change into a sleek, high-tech bodysuit. Akira finds himself standing in a massive, empty white space. He's trembling with nerves, but he can't help but find the sci-fi suit incredibly cool, like something straight out of a video game. To his left, Hyugo Natsuki watches the transformation with a quiet, observant gaze. A glowing circle appears at Akira's feet. Sho explains that both this room, the white box, and the suit are equipped with advanced sensors to monitor his every move. He warns Akira that the test will be forcibly terminated if the situation becomes too dangerous. The gravity of the situation is finally starting to set in. Akira's anxiety peaks as he realizes he could fail if the test is ended early. But Christina doesn't give him time to worry. She announces the start of the practical portion. Akira will be confronting an alien. Up in the control booth, Amamiya and Natsuki monitor the arrays of digital screens, preparing to evaluate the boy's every response. Akira wonders if this confronting an alien means an actual conversation or something more violent. He worries that his communication skills, even in Japanese, might not be up to the task of interstellar diplomacy. Down below, Sho watches the boy on the monitor, looking skeptical of Akira's spirit. Sho's voice comes through, bluntly telling Akira that he can give up at any time and shouldn't push himself. He clearly doesn't think Akira can clear the test. But his lack of faith only makes Akira clench his fist in determination. This is my chance, he thinks, refusing to back down. With a deep breath, Akira's expression hardens. He knows he has to give it his all, no matter what happens. He silently asks his father to watch over him, drawing strength from the memory of the man who once stood where he is now. Up in the control room, all systems are clear. Christina and Amamiya exchange a serious look as they prepare to activate the simulation. The AMO Special Riot Police Recruitment Practical Test is officially set. Roger, comes the reply from the technician as the countdown begins. Link start. A blinding flash of light erupts in the white box. Akira's eyes widen as his senses are suddenly overwhelmed. On the monitors, Sho and the others watch as the boy is digitized and transported into the virtual battlefield. Around him, the white walls are replaced by the vibrant, busy streets of the city. When the light fades, Akira finds himself standing in the middle of the iconic Shibuya crossing. It's eerily quiet, and a light snow has begun to fall, dusting the asphalt and the surrounding buildings. The level of detail is staggering. Akira is in absolute awe. He looks around at the massive screens and the 109 building, barely able to believe that this is all a simulation. Even the people walking around look and sound so real. This is Shibuya's intersection? So cool, he whispers, his fear temporarily replaced by wonder. The realism is terrifying. Akira touches a leaf on a nearby tree and is shocked to find he can actually feel the texture. Even his school uniform feels exactly like the one he was wearing before. He can't help but wonder how the AMO managed to create such a perfect, super realistic virtual space. Akira's respect for the AMO grows with every second. With technology this advanced, he realizes it's no wonder they've been able to keep their existence a secret and erase people's memories so effectively. He feels small in the face of such power. As he stands in the simulated crowd, Akira wonders if his father ever had to take a test like this. His thoughts are suddenly interrupted by a strange, high-pitched, whistling sound from above. What's that sound? He asks, looking up at the gray Shibuya sky. Something is falling from the sky at a terrifying speed. Akira's eyes go wide with panic as a massive object streaks through the clouds, heading straight for the intersection. What? A meteor! He screams, his survival instincts finally kicking in as he tries to scramble out of the way. The impact shakes the entire simulation. When the dust clears, a giant, terrifying wolf-like creature stands before Akira. It has sharp horns, glowing white eyes, and a predatory aura that feels all too real. Akira is frozen on the ground, dwarfed by the massive beast. Akira is sweating profusely, his heart hammering against his ribs. This is a bit unreasonable, no? He gulps, realization dawning on him that this isn't just a test, it's a nightmare. Back in the control room, Sho suddenly slams his hands down, his face pale with shock. The chapter ends on a chilling note. Sho's eyes are wide with a mixture of horror and recognition as he stares at the screen. He speaks a single name, one that carries the weight of 9 years of trauma and revenge. Silver. The very monster that killed Akira's father has appeared on the first day of his recruitment. Gunji Akira shouts in disbelief. He can't believe he's being thrown into another dangerous situation so soon, especially with Amamiya Reiji watching with that unreadable smile. Confused and frustrated, Akira demands to know what's going on. Christina and Tankabashi Sho are already there, and it seems everyone except Akira knows exactly what this test is about. Tankabashi Sho looks him dead in the eye. He mentions Silver, the same type of alien that killed Akira's father 9 years ago. This isn't just a test, it's personal. Suddenly, the white box simulation activates, and a massive, terrifying creature materializes. It's a Silver, a giant wolf-like alien, radiating pure, killing intent. The scale of the beast is overwhelming. It towers over the virtual ruins of the city, its eyes glowing with a feral, predatory light as it locks onto its target. Akida Fiet. This is nothing like the small, docile aliens he's seen before. The realization hits him like a freight train. They want him to fight this monster? Alone? In the middle of the chaos, Akira encounters an unexpected character. A grumpy-looking man with a white beard and a bucket hat, appearing like a typical NPC in a video game. Akira is more confused than ever. The simulation is hyper-realistic. Cars fly through the air and the ground shatters as the Silver alien rampages, turning the virtual Tokyo into a literal war zone. Akira is sent tumbling as the monster howls. He's terrified, his body acting on pure survival instinct as he tries to find somewhere, anywhere to hide. "I be dead meat. Akidas vim internali." He thought this was just a virtual space, but the pain and the fear feel all too real. He looks around, seeing others running for their lives. The old man NPC isn't helping Akira's nerves. He calmly sits there and tells the panicking boy that he must kill the alien. No pressure, right? When Akira asks for a weapon, the old man offers a selection of household items: a rubber ducky, a ladle, a baseball bat, and a frying pan. Is this a joke? Desperate and with no other choice, Akira grabs the baseball bat and the frying pan. The old man grumbles about him being a cheapskate, insisting he can only take one. But the comedy stops when the Silver prepares its next move. The old man warns him that one hit will be fatal. Akira wants to run, but his legs have gone completely numb with terror. He's stuck. He can only watch as the monster leaps through the air, its shadow falling over him. This is the end, or so he thinks. The Silver lunges with terrifying speed. Akira stares up at his impending doom, his heart hammering against his ribs in a deafening rhythm. A massive explosion of debris and dust consumes the area. The simulation's environment is being shredded apart by the pure force of the alien's assault. When the dust clears, Akira realizes he's still alive. The old man NPC has used his own body to shield the boy from the falling rubble. "Hey, are you okay?" Akira asks, his voice trembling. Akira is moved to tears. Even if this is just a simulation, this man, this NPC, protected him. He grits his teeth, his fears slowly being replaced by a surging sense of responsibility. The old man points toward the subway entrance, telling Akira to run even if his legs are numb. He promises he'll be fine, urging the boy to save himself. Akira gives a shaky, emotional smile. He isn't going to just run away anymore. Something inside him is shifting, a warmth spreading from his chest to his limbs. In the observation room, the staff is in a panic. Akira's mental state and brain waves are reaching dangerous levels. Christina wants to end the test, but Amamiya Reiji is captivated. Amamiya takes full responsibility, silencing the room. He knows this isn't a normal recruit's test. He's looking for something specific, something hidden deep within Akira. Amamiya esmirk depens anticipating a spectacle. Beside him, Sho remains silent, his cold gaze fixed on the screen, waiting for the inevitable to unfold. Inside the simulation, Akira's gaze begins to warp, muttering about his dislike for big dogs. A strange, otherworldly light flickers in his eyes, a hint of something monstrous stirring just as his nightmare reaches its peak. The giant Silver alien lunges, its jaws wide open with a feral roar. Gunji Akira watches, paralyzed with fear, as the monster, the same type that took his father away, comes for him in the ruins of the simulation. In that terrifying moment, Akira's mind flashes back to his father, Akio-san. He remembers the warmth of his dad coming home, always smiling gently despite the monsters he fought in the shadows. As the massive claw descends, Akira collapses to the ground, his spirit broken. I can't hold a candle to him, he thinks, feeling completely crushed by the weight of his own perceived weakness. Suddenly, the entire area is rocked by a deafening crash. A massive piece of debris from a nearby building shatters, falling directly toward the defenseless boy. Tenkabashi screams for him to get out of the way, but Akira doesn't move to run. Instead, he reaches out his hand, his expression shifting from terror to a strange, unfathomable focus. Then, the impossible happens. With a single hand, the boy who is just trembling in fear stops the massive steel structure midair with a sharp stop. The impact creates a shockwave that shatters the surrounding ground. Standing in the center of the destruction, Gunji Akira holds up the enormous structure like it weighs nothing at all. An unnatural power radiates from Akira, his presence turning cold and formidable. His eyes are shadowed, and the very air around him seems to vibrate with a hidden, destructive energy. Move, a voice within him seems to command. As Akira pushes back, even the feral silver alien pauses, sensing a threat far more dangerous than anything it has ever encountered. The alien's eyes widen in terror as a blinding light erupts from Akira. In a fraction of a second, the simulated world begins to tear itself apart around the boy. A massive energy blast levels the entire simulated city. The shockwaves are so powerful they threaten to overwhelm the facility's physical foundations, sending dust and debris everywhere. In the monitoring room, the screens flicker with static as the reports come in. Silver eliminated, and energy levels immeasurable. Christina looks on in absolute disbelief, her hands trembling. Christina frantically yells for everyone to calm down and check the status of the white box. The raw energy output has completely surpassed their measuring capacity in an instant. Amami Areiji watches the screen with a knowing smirk. He murmurs Akio-san's name, realizing that the son truly inherited something extraordinary from his legendary father. You really were the one hiding it, Amamiya thinks as he looks at the static-filled screen. The puzzle pieces of the 9-year-old massacre are finally beginning to come together. As the smoke begins to clear in the simulation, Amamiya's smirk remains. Below, the simulation area is a ruin, and Tenkabashi Sho stands amidst the dust, staring at the spot where the impossible just happened. The devastation in the white box is absolute. The simulated city has been reduced to dust and floating debris by the sheer magnitude of Akira's sudden awakening. For a fleeting moment, Akira's eyes are transformed, complex, inhuman patterns spiraling within his pupils, marking the presence of the unknown entity dwelling inside him. Pull yourself together, Gunji-san. Tenkabashi Sho's sharp command breaks Akira out of his trance. The boy blinks, looking completely dazed and unaware of the carnage he just caused. Weak and trembling, Akira asks if it's finally over. Sho confirms it, his expression uncharacteristically guarded as he supports the boy's weight in the settling dust. Back in the facility, Akira admits he remembers nothing after the billboard flew at him. He wonders if he just passed out, while Sho stares at the massive crater Akira left on the simulation wall. Akira sighs, convinced he has definitely failed the test because he feels like he didn't do anything at all. Little does he know, his performance has just shocked the entire organization. I'll just get my memories erased and go back to my normal, everyday life, Akira thinks with a mix of relief and a strange, lingering sadness as he looks toward the ceiling. Reflecting on the heavy truth of his father's murder, Akira braces himself for the end of the test. He's certain his memories will be wiped soon, leaving him to return to a normal life that now feels strangely hollow. But as the simulation begins to power down, a wave of pure embarrassment hits him instead. Akira cringes at his own dramatic heroics, desperately hiding his beet-red face just as the staff arrives to deliver their verdict. The simulation finally winds down, and the relief team arrives to clean up the mess. While Gunji Akira sits there, wishing everyone would just forget his embarrassing outburst, Christina and Amami Reiji walk in to wrap things up. "Congrats. You're accepted," Hugo Natsuki says with a straight face, while Christina celebrates with a burst of energy. Akira is completely blindsided. He's convinced he didn't do anything helpful at all during the entire test. Amamiya Reiji corrects him, noting that Akira chose to help the elderly NPC instead of just focusing on the target. He looks into Akira's eyes, expressing a firm belief that the boy will become a splendid member of the AMO SRP, perhaps even greater than his legendary father. Akira can only manage a week. "I'll try my best," while his mind is a whirl of doubt. The chibi version of the group perfectly captures the awkward, uncertain energy in the room as the reality of his situation begins to sink in. The surprises keep coming as Amamiya Reiji assigns Akira and Tenkabashi Sho as buddies. Akira's jaw drops. Why him? But Amamiya is serious. Both of them are ultimately chasing the same phantom, the alien known as Silver. Tenkabashi Sho remains characteristically silent, his sharp profile revealing nothing of his inner thoughts. Beside him, Akira's shock is palpable. Their journey together is just beginning, and it's already looking complicated. As they head out, the staff wishes them luck. Akira is already stressing out. How on earth is he supposed to talk to someone as cool and aloof as Tenkabashi Sho at school tomorrow? He can already feel the awkward silences coming. In the quiet of the hallway, the professional veneer slips. Hugo Natsuki confronts Amamiya Reiji, his voice low and dangerous as he questions the decision to bring a complete amateur like Akira into such a high-stakes environment. The tension explodes as Hugo grabs Amamiya by the collar, demanding to know what he really saw in that boy. Amamiya doesn't flinch, his smug smile unwavering even as his life is threatened by his stern colleague. Amamiya calmly explains that everyone at the scene is under a strict NDA, so there won't be any leaks about the incident. He wants Akira close for observation, sensing that the boy is far more than he appears to be on the surface. Amamiya is certain about one thing. Gunji Akira is going to be the key piece to achieving universal peace. His calculations go far beyond what anyone else in the AMO can see right now, and he's willing to gamble everything on it. Outside, Akira walks home with his mind completely blank. It's hard to wrap his head around the fact that his ordinary life changed so drastically in just 24 hours. He feels like he's in a dream or a nightmare. Tenkabashi Sho walks beside him, delivering a stern warning. If Akira breathes a word about aliens or the AMO to anyone else, the punishment will be severe, though even Sho doesn't know exactly what it entails. The warning hits home. Akira realizes he can't even joke about people being aliens anymore. His gaze drifts back to Sho. Knowing that they are both hunting Silver adds a new, heavy layer to their relationship that Akira doesn't quite know how to handle. A moment of empathy strikes Akira. He wonders if Sho lost someone important to him too. Is that why he's so driven, so cold, and so focused on the mission? He looks at his partner, searching for a sign of humanity behind that mask. The conversation shifts back to the train car. Akira remembers the tentafool, Fujiwara-san, saying the car was alien exclusive. He wonders why he was allowed to board if he's human. Sho simply brushes it off as technical difficulties. Poor Akira is practically vibrating with social anxiety. He wants to bridge the gap and start a real conversation, but the interaction just keeps dying on the vine. Every attempt to speak feels like a monumental task he's failing. Akira finally pushes through his nerves to ask why Sho was on that train car and if they're really supposed to work together as humans. Sho's expression is unreadable as he prepares to drop a bombshell that will change everything. The revelation hits Akira like a physical blow. "I'm not a normal human," Sho says, his eyes cold and certain. The mystery surrounding his partner just got a whole lot deeper, leaving Akira completely stunned. Before Akira can even process that information, Sho dashes off, leaving him in the dust. Akira is left sweating and stunned, thinking about how scary a self-proclaimed genius like Sho can be in so many different ways. The reality of the world starts to set in for the boy. On this Earth, aliens from other planets aren't just a fantasy. They blend into the crowd and live right among us, hidden in plain sight. Most are friendly and docile, living ordinary lives in the city like anyone else. But as Akira looks at the bustling station, he knows there are exceptions, dangerous ones that need to be handled with extreme care. That's where the AMO comes in. They manage and resolve the incidents caused by these hidden aliens. And now, Akira finds himself under the department called the Special Riot Police, thrust into the front lines of this secret war. Akira gazes at an old photograph of himself as a child, saluting alongside his father. The name Silver, the monster that shattered his world, reverberates in his mind, fueling a heavy but undeniable sense of purpose. Looking at his father's confident smile, Akira's hesitation finally begins to melt into a quiet, burning resolve. He may not understand the power within him yet, but he is ready to uncover the truth his father left behind. One thing is certain, Gunji Akira has found his driving force. The memory of his father and the desire to uncover the truth have forged a firm determination within him. Elsewhere, in a cold, dimly lit room, Amamiya Reiji is being cornered. A voice commands him to answer the question, and the playful mask he usually wears begins to slip. Standing before several sound-only monitors, Amamiya faces the high-ranking superiors of the AMO. They demand to know why he would bring an untested amateur like Gunji Akira into the elite Special Riot Police. The questioning intensifies. The superiors mention the destruction caused during the white box test and accuse Amamiya of showing the boy special favor. They want to know why, of all teams, Akira was assigned to Team 3. Amamiya gives a simple, infuriating answer. I don't know. He smiles, seemingly unfazed by the growing pressure from the organization's leaders. He explains that Akira is a unique case, an earthling that street cameras couldn't even detect. Until this recruitment, the organization hadn't even recognized his existence. The superiors reveal they've confirmed Akira once boarded an alien-exclusive train car alone. They ask the critical question, is he in the same category as Tenkabashi Sho? Amamiya's answer is a flat no. Amamiya's smile turns sharp. He doesn't think Akira is like Sho. He believes the boy is something entirely different, something they've never seen before. Despite the high-stakes environment, Amamiya politely asks to voice his conjectures. The lead monitor grants him permission to proceed with his theory. He points out that while Akira has lived as an average student, he saw something erupt from the boy during the white box test. A secret hiding within him that the AMO hasn't grasped yet. Amamiya's theory is chilling. He believes an unknown parasite alien is using Gunji Akira as a host, one that their technology cannot yet identify. He mentions Gunji Akio, Akira's father and former captain of Team 1, suggesting a connection to his mysterious death 9 years ago. Amamiya believes the best course is to keep the boy close and observe. The superiors reluctantly agree to his plan, seeing no better option. But they leave him with a dark, secondary directive regarding Tenkabashi Sho's role. If the parasite takes over, or if Akira becomes an enemy to humanity, Sho has been given the order to dispose of him immediately. The partners are now also jailer and executioner. As the hand on the screen hovers over the profile of Gunji Akira, the superiors give a final, chilling warning. Failure will no longer be tolerated. Amamiya watches as the connection cuts to black. The room falls silent. Hugo Natsuki, who has been standing by, comments on the radio silence from the superiors. The weight of the mission is heavier than ever. Amamiya doesn't respond immediately. He seems lost in thought, perhaps weighing the risks of the dangerous game he's playing with Akira's life. When Hugo asks what the superiors meant by tolerating no more failure, Amamiya brushes it off. He mutters that it would be a shame to shorten any lifespans over mere conjectures. The next morning, the sun shines over the quiet Nakata residence. It seems like a peaceful start to a normal day, but inside, things are anything but calm. In his room, Akira is having a total meltdown. He realized he woke up exactly at the time he was supposed to leave the house. Crap, crap, crap. He panics, rushing to get ready. He scrambles into his clothes as fast as possible. His auntie calls out to him from the stairs, telling him his breakfast and boxed lunch are ready, but he has no time to spare. Akira rushes past, thanking his auntie. She apologizes for not waking him up sooner, saying his sleeping face looked so peaceful and adorable that she couldn't bear to disturb him. Akira stops for a moment to shove on his shoes, but a sudden sting of pain shoots through his leg. He's so stressed, he can barely give Annie a straight answer about what's wrong. As he hobbles toward the station, Akira wonders why every muscle in his body is screaming in pain. It seems the physical toll of yesterday's brutal test is finally catching up with him, making even the simplest movements a challenge. Despite the aches and the late start, Akira puts on a brave face for Auntie before plunging into the morning commute. He's heading out into a world that now feels far more dangerous and crowded than he ever imagined. Gunji Akira is getting the full Tokyo experience, squeezed into a morning train like a sardine. He's barely hanging on, hoping this train will at least get him to school on time. After everything he's seen, he can't help but look around with suspicion. For all he knows, any one of these commuters could be an alien passing as a human. The trauma is real. The thought of superior alien technology going wild in such a crowded place makes him shudder. But then, a loud screech of the brakes reminds him of the harsh reality of being squished. Akira wipes a tear from his eye, trying to stay positive. He figures no alien would travel across the galaxy just to endure a morning commute. What kind of masochist would that be, he mutters. The world has changed for Akira. He now knows that aliens blend into the crowd, managed by the secret organization AMO. And somehow, he's ended up in their special riot police. As he passes through the ticket gate, he thinks about how he used to think weird people were aliens. Now, the line between normal and abnormal has blurred forever. Akira thinks of his father, a police officer who fought these very aliens and was killed by the one known as Silver. He wonders if Silver, too, is hiding among the humans. Arriving at school, Akira spots a familiar back. It's Tenkabashi Sho, walking with that same cool, detached aura he has at the AMO. Is he wondering about the same things? At the lockers, Akira finds something unexpected, a plain, white envelope tucked into his shoebox. He stares at it, his eyes wide with shock. This is not part of his routine. Could this be? Akira's mind goes into overdrive. In a place as ordinary as a school locker room, a mysterious letter feels like a ticking time bomb. A bad luck letter? He panics, his hand shaking. Before he can spiral further, his friend Makoto gives him a friendly pat, oblivious to the drama unfolding in Akira's hands. Makoto playfully asks if it's a love letter, making Akira even more flustered. While they talk, Tenkabashi Sho walks past, drawing the usual whispers and admiration from the students. Sho's presence is overwhelming. He's Mr. Popular for a reason. Akira watches him pass, his heart thumping as he considers their secret connection. He thinks about greeting Sho since they're technically buddies now, but the coolness of Tenkabashi Sho makes him hesitate. In the end, they pass each other without a single word. Akira tells himself it's fine. They can't talk about their AMO work in the open anyway. He has to maintain his ordinary life, even if he feels anything but ordinary inside. Makoto is still gushing over how cool Sho looks up close. Akira, meanwhile, is lost in his own thoughts, trying to reconcile the hot boy in school with the cold agent he saw yesterday. As Sho walks away, Akira feels a sense of distance. In his mind, they are still completely unrelated, despite the partnership forced upon them by the AMO. Driven by nerves, Akira hides in a toilet stall to finally open the note. It's a simple message. After class, please come to the clearing behind the gym. I will be waiting. No name, just an invitation. Akira turns bright red, covering his face in disbelief. He never thought this would actually happen to him. First love letter of my life, he thinks, his heart racing. But then doubt creeps in. Is it even possible for a kid like him to get something this dramatic? His mind flashes to scenes from manga about dissection and secret experiments, making him even more nervous. He considers just going home to avoid any scary situations. But despite his fears, when class finally ends, Akira finds himself standing behind the gym, just as the letter requested. To his absolute horror, the one waiting for him isn't a mysterious girl. It's Tenkabashi Sho. Akira lets out a strangled cry. Was it you all along, Tenkabashi-kun? Sho apologizes, explaining that since he didn't have Akira's contact info, a letter was the only way to summon him. Akira is completely overwhelmed, his romantic dreams shattered in an instant. Are you a ninja? Akira whispers, completely baffled by how Sho managed to sneak that letter into his locker unseen. Sho just signals for him to keep it down, his cool demeanor never wavering as the high school setting shifts back to serious business. When Sho asks why he's so flustered, Akira can't bring himself to confess his love letter misunderstanding. He just stammers through his blush, especially when Sho reveals the real reason for the meeting. They're needed back at the ammo facility. Tenkabashi Sho leads the way, mentioning that Chris-san wants them back at the facility. Gunji Akira isn't thrilled about going back to that scary police building, but Sho explains they're taking a different route this time. With a cold and professional aura, Sho tells Akira to follow him. He's already moving toward their next destination, leaving the overwhelmed boy with no choice but to keep up. The two walk through the bustling subway station, a stark contrast between Sho's calm confidence and Akira's anxious stumbling. The secret world of the AMO feels even heavier in such a public space. Sho stops and turns, asking if he's walking too fast. Akira quickly denies it, stammering that he just thought it would be better if he wasn't walking too close to someone as popular as Sho. Internally, Akira is a mess. He keeps reminding himself that they aren't friends and that it's probably wrong to even think of them that way. He's trying so hard to maintain a professional distance. He can't stop thinking about Amamiya-san's words about them being buddies. The idea of being a partner to someone as talented as Sho is both exciting and terrifying for the clumsy boy. Akira watches Sho's back as they walk through the station, wondering what is going on in his partner's mind. Does Sho even want a buddy, or is Akira just a mandatory burden? He's convinced that anyone would find him a bother. I don't know anything. I can't do anything, he thinks, the weight of his own perceived uselessness dragging him down. Akira makes a silent vow to try his best not to be a nuisance to Sho. He's so focused on his internal resolve that he doesn't notice the world moving on without him. Then, reality hits. Crap, Akira mutters as he blinks back to the present. He's been lost in his thoughts for 5 minutes, and the consequences are immediate. He's standing alone at the Hibiya station exit. Tenkabashi Sho is nowhere to be seen. In the blink of an eye, Akira has managed to get himself completely lost in the heart of the city. Akira panics, realizing he doesn't even have Sho's phone number. To make matters worse, he realizes he spent the last few minutes accidentally following some random old guy, thinking it was his partner. Suddenly, a voice rings out behind him, and Akira screams in terror. A kitten who's lost, perhaps? Someone asks, startling him out of his wits. He turns to see a girl crouching nearby. She's watching him with a predatory, mischievous gaze that makes his hair stand on end. This is no ordinary passerby. Akira is momentarily stunned by her beauty. Whoa, so thin, and such a small face, he thinks, wondering if she's some kind of celebrity perched up there in the middle of the street. The Kogai being gives a playful wink and a cheeky smile, self-proclaiming herself as a Bishujo. Akira is completely thrown off by her intense energy and strange behavior. Then, she drops a bombshell. You want to go to the AMO facility, right? Akira's heart stops. How could this total stranger possibly know about his secret destination? The Kogaibian leans in close. Her eyes narrow and a row of sharp teeth glints in her grin. Follow me, little kitten, she purrs, radiating a sense of danger that Akira can't ignore. Akira can only stare in mute shock. Who is this mysterious girl, and why is she leading him into the unknown? The chapter ends on a chilling cliffhanger, leaving Akira and us with more questions than answers. Nadeshiko leans in, her eyes sparkling with a mix of mischief and danger. "Come with me, little kitten," she whispers, catching Gunji Akira completely off guard. Before he can even process the invitation, she's already darting away, leaving Akira standing there like a statue. But wait, let's back up a second. This Bishujo just appeared out of nowhere and got right up in Akira's personal space, leaving him sweating bullets. She's relentless, pushing her face closer and closer. Akira can't help but feel that something is seriously off about this girl's intensity. "You're an alien, right?" Akira asks, the suspicion finally overriding his confusion as he looks into those unnerving eyes. Nadeshiko doesn't even flinch. She explains that knowing about Amo narrows down his identity significantly. He's either with the secret organization, or he's an alien himself. Akira tries to play it cool, though his sweat says otherwise. He tells her that if he's wrong, he'll apologize, but he's not just going to follow a stranger. "Sorry, I can't go with you," he says, looking away awkwardly. Nadeshiko is surprised, but she's also finding his caution quite amusing. She smirks, realizing that Akira isn't as derpy as he looks. That cautious brain of his might actually be his saving grace. But Nadeshiko isn't done yet. With a playful here, she reveals she's already snatched his most precious possession. It's his wallet. She laughs and dares him to catch her as she sprints off with supernatural speed. Akira panics. That wallet has the only photo of his dad. He can't believe she managed to swipe it without him even noticing. He's chasing her down when BAM, he runs straight into someone. It's Tenkabashi Sho, standing there like a brick wall. Akira manages to grab Nadeshiko's arm, desperate to get his belongings back. "Now get back my wallet," he shouts. But the mood shifts instantly when Nadeshiko sees Sho. "Long time no see, Shokun," she beams, making Akira wonder just how deep this rabbit hole goes. Sho doesn't return the greeting. Instead, he coolly raises his watch and activates Combat W on. Suddenly, pixels and data flow around Sho. Akira watches in absolute awe as his classmate begins to transform right before his eyes. In a flash, Sho's school uniform is replaced by a high-tech tactical suit. Even Nadeshiko seems impressed, though she doesn't look scared. Sho doesn't waste time. He lunges at her with a speed that Akira's eyes can barely track, blade at the ready. Akira is speechless. The gap between them is massive. Sho is a professional, a true weapon of ammo. It's a Kabutin from hell. Sho pins Nadeshiko against the wall, his expression cold and lethal. "What's going on?" Akira cries out. Nadeshiko just smiles back, teasing him for trying to cut up a Bishujo without even saying hello first. They clearly have history. Sho calls her by name while she bids Akira farewell before vanishing into the shadows. With the immediate threat gone, the tactical suit dissolves back into data, returning Tenkabashi Sho to his unassuming school uniform. But despite the calm exterior, the tension in the air hasn't faded. Sho turns his cold, piercing gaze toward Gunji Akira, demanding to know why he was with that thing. The weight of his question leaves Akira realizing that he's stumbled into something far more dangerous than a simple theft. Tenkabashi Sho's gaze is icy as he repeats the cold reality. That girl was an extermination target. Gunji Akira can only stare in shock, the weight of those words finally sinking in as he realizes the life and death nature of the world he just stepped into. As they walk through the city, Sho delivers more bad news. The wallet likely won't be coming back. Akira looks devastated, his head hanging low as the reality of his loss hits home. Akira mumbles that his father's photo was in that wallet, making the loss even more painful. Sho listens in silence, his expression hardening as he senses Akira's genuine distress, though he tries to brush it off with a forced smile. Suddenly, Sho slams his hand against the wall in a rare display of frustration. He deeply apologizes to Akira, admitting he let his emotions get the better of him, which allowed the target to slip through his fingers. But Sho's resolve is terrifying. He vows to kill her next time, no questions asked. Akira is horrified. He thought capture was the goal, but Sho is talking about ending a life. The tension breaks slightly as Sho calls Akira kind, a compliment that leaves the boy flustered. They continue their walk, the city towering above them as Akira tries to process everything. Then, out of nowhere, Sho extends his hand with a dead serious expression, suggesting they hold hands so they don't get separated again. Akira's brain practically short-circuits at the absurdity of the request. Akira politely declines, awkwardly appreciating the thought while internally screaming. He knows Sho is handsome, but this is definitely not the time or place for handholding. A quick recap of the chaos. A mysterious girl chats him up, steals his wallet, and now he's being summoned by the eccentric Christina-san after school. Talk about a busy first day. Back to the present. Sho is leading Akira toward the AMO facility via a secret entrance. Akira follows tentatively, wondering what kind of high-tech base awaits him. They stop in front of a dingy coffee shop in a back alley. Akira is skeptical. This doesn't exactly look like the headquarters of a top-secret alien hunting organization. Inside, they're greeted by a cheerful waitress. Sho coolly orders 2 meal sets and announces they're heading to the restroom. Akira realizes the toilet is actually the portal to their destination. They cram into a tiny elevator-like space. Sho explains there are other entrances, but for now, they have to deal with these cramped quarters. Akira can barely breathe. As they descend, Akira's mind wanders. He ponders the facility's location beneath the park and can't stop thinking about Nadeshiko. Was she really an alien? And what exactly did Sho mean by extermination? In the silence of the elevator, Akira finds himself staring at Sho's profile, noticing just how long his eyelashes are. Even in this high-stakes situation, Sho's cool beauty is distracting. The doors open to a stunning arboretum filled with lush greenery. Christina-san is already there, lounging at a table and waving them over with her signature flamboyant energy. Christina gets straight to the point, winking as she promises Akira a gift of love. The boy is understandably confused and a bit worried about what that could possibly be. The gift turns out to be a sleek smartwatch. Akira looks at it curiously, wondering if this is just standard issue gear or something more special. Christina excitedly explains that this is the Mulch, a multi-function watch with 4 primary features. Akira can't help but think the name is a bit of a letdown. The first function measures vitals, from heart rate to SpO2. While exploring the touch panel, Akira accidentally taps Sho's name on the contact list, immediately initiating a call. Sho picks up instantly, his voice appearing right next to Akira's ear. Christina explains that the screen is a retinal image that only the wearer can see, top-tier alien technology at its finest. She further explains the bone transmission mode for audio privacy in crowded areas. Akira is genuinely impressed, realizing just how advanced AMO's resources really are. Then comes the big one, the third function, Combat W. Sho stands ready as Christina signals for a demonstration, her excitement palpable. In a blur of pixels and data, Tenkabashi Sho transforms into his sleek tactical suit. Akira can only watch in absolute awe, mesmerized by the sheer precision of the high-tech assembly unfolding right before his eyes. While Christina dives into the technical jargon of alien polyfiber and audio recognition, Akira finds himself completely out of his depth. But with a single command of combat off, Sho's uniform vanishes just as quickly, returning him to his school blazer in the blink of an eye. Gunji Akira is still reeling from how fast Tenkabashi Sho changed back into his school uniform. He realizes that Sho's specs, his skills and technology, are on a completely different level than any ordinary human. Christina explains that while Akira's watch has a combat uniform, it doesn't have the W function yet. Sho confirms this, leaving Akira to wonder what exactly that W stands for. The mystery is solved quickly. W stands for weapon. Sho explains it's their primary means of offense, causing Akira to realize just how dangerous his new job is about to become. Sho demonstrates his twin weapons, but he holds them in such an awkward, lame way that Akira can't help but feel he's wasting his cool face value. He internally begs Sho to hold them in a cooler way. Akira remembers Sho's lethal efficiency on the train back in Chapter 1. Christina asks Akira if he has any ideas for a weapon he'd like, but the boy is still too scared to even think about fighting. Christina suggests taking inspiration from anime or manga, noting that boys usually love that kind of stuff. Akira glances at Sho, who is still holding his twin weapons with a blank stare. Akira admits he loves hot-blooded manga where delinquents brawl, but he knows that kind of manliness is far beyond him. To his shock, Christina casually offers him a gun for self-defense. The gun turns out to be a taser shaped like an incredibly cute cat seal creature. Christina cheerfully notes that while it looks adorable, its function is shocking, literally. When Akira asks Sho why he chose twin weapons, Sho's simple logic is that two are stronger than one. Akira can't help but label him a battle-crazed monkey in his head. As the conversation about custom weapons continues, Akira's thoughts drift back to his father. He wonders what kind of weapon his dad used during his time with the police. Akira waits with bated breath as Christina prepares to reveal the fourth and final function of the watch. He gulps, expecting something world-shattering. The grand reveal? It tells time. Akira's jaw drops at the anticlimax. Just as he's processing the disappointment, Amamiya Reiji arrives, announcing that his timing is perfect. Amamiya-san, with his signature eye patch and cool demeanor, steps into the arboretum. He has some big news for the group. The news is enough to make Akira's heart skip a beat. It's time for his very first mission. The weight of the moment hits him instantly, his pulse thumping in his ears. Amamiya motions for someone to come over. Akira's eyes drop to the floor, noticing a pair of tiny, bear-themed sneakers approaching. Special Agent Hugo Natsuki appears, leading a small, silent girl by the hand. Amamiya announces that this child is their client for this mission. Akira is completely caught off guard. He stares at the girl, unable to tell if she's human or alien, and realizes he's not even close to being mentally prepared for this. Amamiya introduces her as Takachiho Erika, an alien from a planet 13 light-years away. Then he drops the bombshell. Her life is in grave danger. The mission is simple but terrifying. Akira must serve as her bodyguard. A high-stakes protection mission for an alien child? Akira's new life just went from 0 to 100 in the blink of an eye.